Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the Story Nook. Go ahead, grab your tea, your water, your hot cocoa, your coffee, whatever it is you want to drink, and let's dive into our stories today. Today we are going to be reading stories from Petty Revenge. And I believe I have one nuclear revenge queued up. So our first story comes from I'm Bambi Bitch. And it is titled, We Decided We Can't Meet Your Expectations and wouldn't want you to be disappointed in your vehicle. Therefore, we have decided to refund your money. Back when F-150 Raptors were hot and hard to get, I was selling a car at our dealership. We were one of the few dealerships not playing any games on the Raptors. The deal was MSRP minus any rebates you qualify for, plus our $299 dealer fee and TTL, which was super reasonable. Then came Tom. Tom was a royal pita from the start. First off, he thought he was going to haggle, and it got so bad that I straight up told him, Here's your deal. If you like it, let my manager over there know, and we'll take a deposit and order the vehicle. But I have other customers to attend to. Then I got up and left to meet my appointment. Tom was scheduled for noon, and it was now 3 p.m., a full 3 hours later. While Tom sat at my desk for a solid 15 to 20 minutes, I saw him get up and walk over to my manager's office. My manager ended up taking his deposit, explaining the process, and sending him off. FYI, out of the 1,000 plus customers I've sold, there was only one customer that I did that to, and it was Tom. Tom was special. It got worse. Here are the things Tom did. Tom forged a dealer offer sheet from a competing dealer, trying to get us to give him a $3,000 discount. Tom called our Auto Group HQ several times to complain. Tom called Ford HQ several times to complain. Tom was repeatedly caught in lies. His lies were normally be Bambi manager said, or Bambi said, when we didn't. A few weeks before his vehicle was due, he sent out a massive email that included our CSRs. A few weeks before his vehicle was due, he sent out a massive email that included our CSRs, myself, my manager, my GM. Basically listing his demands and being incredibly unreasonable. A few hours before the email, a customer inquired about an F-150 Raptor, but unfortunately the order banks had closed, and we had none in stock. We never had any in stock. But this new customer seemed super nice. So I went to my GM and said, let's sell this Raptor to this new guy who seems super chill and nice and can easily afford it, and let's refund this dick his money and tell him we can't do business with him. My GM agreed. So my GM told me to write up the email and CC certain individuals. I wrote up the email. Dear Tom, after careful consideration of your last email and your past experience, we decide we can't meet your expectations and wouldn't want you to be disappointed in your vehicle. Therefore, we have decided to refund your money. We have instructed our accounting department to cut a check and overnight it to the address on file. You will be receiving a refund in full. We hope you can find a dealership that can match your expectations. We wish you all the best. Then I called up my customer from earlier and said, Hey man, We got a new Raptor that just became available. I can send you the window sticker and it's yours for MSRP plus $290 dealer fee plus TTL. I sent over the window sticker. After I did that, Tom called me, furious, telling me he was going to sue us. I passed the call to my GM, who gave him our law firm's phone number and told him his lawyer could talk to our lawyer and asked Tom not to call back again. Then the new customer from that morning called me back and said he was on the way to meet me to place a deposit and start the paperwork. TLDR, this was petty revenge because we took away a hard-to-get vehicle from a dick and gave it to a very nice customer. FYI, I had ChatGPT fix the grammar. Any thoughts? I mean, the grammar's decent. But nice of you to get that nice little bit of petty revenge. Sorry about, the random coughs. I will try my best to cut them out. And we're gonna go on to our nuclear revenge story. And it is posted by Ultimate Odie, which, love that name. And it is titled, My Ex-Fiancé Refused to Respect My Boundaries, So I Married His Best Friend. TLDR, ex-fiancé forgot he cheated on me and freeloads, so I marry his best friend. Back in 2019, I had just moved my long-term partner into my house due to a series of poor life choices on his end. It had been a rocky relationship for most of its duration, but I was young and dumb. I believed this was him wanting to commit and truly start our lives. By early 2020, we were engaged. I was a full-time university student, sole caretaker for my mentally disabled mother, and taking care of the house and our pets. He worked a standard 40-hour week, minimum wage job, and refused to help me with any aspect of life. I found out on Christmas Day 2020 he had been unfaithful and had forgotten to tell me. He was planning on leaving me, but had informed everyone except me because he was failing to secure a new residence. Apparently his fuck buddy didn't like him enough to let him move in. At this point, it was very little love lost, and I expected he would be moving out within the coming weeks. Fast forward 3 entire months, and his search for a living place was non-existent, and he was acting more and more entitled. Clearly, by this point, he was an unwelcomed freeloader who has taken up residence in my living room. I was about to secure an eviction notice to get him off my couch. He began swiping Tinder with his phone volume loudly on. I told him not to do that in my presence, as it was highly insensitive to do in my home, and he could do it in private. This continued, so I told him I would sleep with one of his friends. It was said in a moment of anger, and was more of an empty threat at the time. However, I am known for seeing goals to their completion. I messaged the guy who was supposedly my ex's best friend and the best man for the wedding. It turns out he didn't even consider my ex a close friend, and my ex had acted similarly terrible to this guy previously as well. We bonded over our terrible experience, hit it off really well in general, and started dating. I was upfront about what the catalyst for me to reach out to him was. After 2 years of dating, we were married April 2nd. He watched me graduate with the bachelor's degree my ex disliked. I'm halfway through my master's, and my husband works in a specialized, steady field that supports us. Last I heard, my ex got kicked out of his dad's house. Never was able to officially date his side chick, and has not made any choices to better his life. You know, there are just some people like that. They're just gonna keep dilly-dallying, messing up, doing stupid shit. And you apparently got a husband out of your revenge, so that's good. Hopefully you and the hubby have more in common than just, I hate this guy too. Our next story comes from r/petty revenge. And it is titled, I Was As Nice to Her as She Was to Me. And it is posted by user Flimsy1704. My stepmother is the queen of Southern bless your heart style backhanded kindness. She is petite with a cute little Southern accent, and everything she says is so sweet, if you take it at face value. My sister and I have tried to talk to our father about how mean she can be, but he says we're reading into it too much. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I hosted Passover with 11 adults and 2 kids. Passover is already a point of contention because she's repeatedly, not so subtly, excluded my husband, who isn't Jewish. She arrived an hour early, without notice, with 2 of my stepbrothers with intellectual disabilities to help. And she brought a gift. A wine glass that she made a point of indicating is decorated to be for the woman of the house. For context, by tradition, different family members bless certain things on the Sabbath and holidays, and the husband blesses the wine. She and my father recently moved into a new house, and their open house was last week. She forwarded me the invite she sent to her family a week earlier. It opened with a checklist starting with stepmom and dad move in, followed by all the great things in her children's life, and she suggested my husband and I come in between her family in the morning and her friends in the afternoon so we wouldn't feel overwhelmed. So my husband and I went, with our dogs. No, we didn't tell her in advance. We just assumed she'd be fine with it, because she always says she loves them so much. We enter the house, and her grandchildren shout, "Doggy!" and start rubbing bellies. She tried to suggest we leave them in her son's house across the street, since it would be easier on us. I kindly thanked her, but insisted it was no trouble at all. Then we gladly followed my father on a tour of the house, taking plenty of time in each and every room. She watched as her nice new house that all of her friends were coming to see ended up smelling like dogs. And she had to smile the whole time. ETA, I have no problem with my stepbrothers coming to my home. I invited them. I only mentioned their ID because, while I absolutely adore them, they were not going to be helpful, as my stepmother obviously knew. And that's pretty much how, you have to deal with those kind of people. You just have to kind of combat their, niceness with your own, especially if people can't see past the niceness for whatever reason. But this is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what other kinds of stories you would like me to read. We have hiccups. And thank you very much to my YouTube channel members, my Patreon supporters, my Ko-fi supporters for helping me support making new art and continuing to make videos and all that good stuff. So thank you. Everyone have a lovely day. Bye-bye.